think we're all on here.
We're here. All right. This is the best.
And welcome to the Milo Beasley Show. Dude. Episode number 114.
114.
So I said we wanted a round table, not a Knights of the Round Table.
Dang it. I thought Beardsley could be part of the Shield.
Part of
see what you did there.
I see what you did there.
Sorry.
So this week, a little round table discussion. A square bed discussion with toys, and this creepy doll made its return. And Simba.
Matches.
My guest this week, starting from right to left, would be Kennadi Brink.
Hello.
Luscious Latasha.
Hey.
And Sue Young. Yay! So we want to do a little roundtable discussion. This was something that Sue Young and I were discussing earlier, but I was like, man, I want to get some of this stuff on camera because I thought it was a good discussion. The first question I would like to pose is not one of yours, but your favorite match that you've watched of all time.
Well, I have a few answers to that, because one of them is like for all the right reasons, and then one of them is for like all the wrong reasons.
Exactly.
Not wrong, but I guess
right.
Like a match that like no one else ever would really want to watch or have a really reason to watch. But anyway, Unforgiven 2002, Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar was the first time they ever really wrestled. It was like not like a hugely like epic match where people are like, yeah, that was awesome, but it was just one that I've watched 1.5 million times because I was so emotionally invested in that match for stupid reasons.
And what's the one for the wrong reason?
No, that's the wrong reason.
Oh, that's the wrong reason.
That's the wrong reason, because it's like there's no real reason.
I like that though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But that was the one where Brock Lesnar put a hand on the Undertaker's unborn child with Sarah and all that stuff. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? I remember that. Me being a mock. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get yelled at for that eventually.
Gigi gonna get you.
Gigi gonna get me?
Yeah, Gigi Johnson.
Yeah, Gigi.
Shout out to Gigi.
Yeah, what about you? Another match with you? Oh, my other one was Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25.
So
that's the one. It's legitimate good wrestling match.
So it sounds to me that you are an Undertaker fan. Is that correct then?
Yes, that would be a correct statement. That would be true.
So from the word go, like when you saw Undertaker, you were like, there's something about this dude, this
character,
phenom, right? That you were instantly drawn to, or did it take a little bit?
Yeah, I gravitated to him because first I was a huge Rock got me into wrestling, I think, and that was who I was obsessed with. And then I had Goldberg for like 3 months of obsession. I don't know, and then I just transferred the rest of the way to the Undertaker. I don't know. So that's my story.
Interesting. One of my favorite all-time matches was Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels, the Iron Man match.
Yeah.
I cried like a little baby, and I was so excited, and I was even on like the living room floor, like weeping, and my grandmother's like, "Oh, you won! Yeah, it's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah. So,
one of my all-time favorites has to be the match between Shane McMahon and Kurt Angle when he threw him through the glass.
The first time he didn't make it through the glass.
No.
The first time he hit it, it fell like straight on his head.
You never stop trying, kids.
If at first you don't succeed, you will break that window.
Yeah,
so like it was when he like belly to belly, like, and he hit the glass, but then fell straight on his head.
I've never seen anything like that. Like as a kid, like things like that really revolutionized.
You know, that's got like what.
A lot of.
Imagine, like, you know, you're at that point, you're Shane McMahon, right? This guy just threw you. You didn't hit the window, fall on your head, and he picks you up and says, "We're gonna do it again." Like, could you really? If Kurt Angle's gonna throw you, though, he's gonna throw you. There's no like, we're getting out of this. Like, he's going to throw you until you break the window.
If you're gonna do it right. And at that point, the adrenaline, I'm sure, is just going through you. They're like, let's do whatever we got to do, brother.
Oh, yeah. I have a right reason and a wrong reason type match. Favorite match: Sting versus Ric Flair, Clash of Champions 1. Those are my two. When I was younger, I was a big Sting fan. Like, you know, when I was like 8, you know, and that was 1988. So huge Sting fan. And then later, as I started growing up and understanding wrestling, Ric Flair was the epitome of a wrestler. And I was more of a NWA fan at that time than I was a WWF time, because I thought it was more real.
Gotcha.
Like, whereas WWF I saw as characters, and NWA I saw as wrestling, which is really ironic because now, like, I'm a character. So
He saw the light.
But then,
Yeah.
but my other top match, for the wrong reasons, is Shawn Michaels versus Rick Martel. I can't remember the exact event, but it's where they both agreed they wouldn't hit each other in the face. Are you guys familiar with this match?
Yeah.
It's the storytelling is genius. By genius, I mean ridiculous, but fantastic. What about top angle of all time? Not Kurt, but top angle or storyline or just, you know, segment.
Well, like, for me, it goes again to the Undertaker Brock Lesnar stuff throughout the whole, and then it's kind of cool how it ultimately led to the streak ending, even if people don't. They try. I guess made us try to think that this is the first time they've wrestled, but in actuality, they had all that build up years before.
So you're a Brock Lesnar fan as well, or you hate him because he broke the streak?
No, I am a fan. I am a fan. Paul Heyman fan as well.
Paul Heyman is fantastic.
Yes.
My whole favorite little angle was when DX was trying to invade WCW. When at my household, I was a big WWF fan. My grandmother liked WCW, so we'd have to switch back and forth, and I'm like, what is going on right now? Like, I love them. You know what I mean? Like, it was great. It was great. So.
And it was real. You know, like that was the first time, like, where they mentioned like the other companies, but it was everything. It was just so real. Like it made you have to watch both shows. I think every wrestling fan at that point switched back and forth, which is kind of leads, I think, into yours.
My favorite storylines, which happens to be the invasion angle, and mainly between the McMahons. I love seeing, like, because I mean, I was a kid growing up, and you know, when you're a kid, you bicker with your family and your parents, and seeing like a rebellious son go against his father, who was a, you know, very serious and very intense character himself, like that made me like be like, ah!
Yeah, you could relate to that.
Like,
you could relate.
Like, yeah!
Exactly.
Even with Stephanie in the angle, like all of that was just amazing and so cool to see because it invested so many people, you know what I'm saying? Like seeing Stephanie and her dad and then Shane come out with like Triple H, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just like, whoa, what is going on? This is crazy.
Am I the only one disappointed that Shane didn't draft Triple H? Like, seriously, I mean, I was really hoping, because they could have done so much with Triple H and Stephanie on other sides. I was like, man, like this is gonna be it.
This could be a thing.
Like this could really be. Cool. And I don't want to say I was disappointed, but I was kind of hoping like that, because I think that could have really they could have really done some cool things.
That would have been really interesting. I think that would have been really cool.
My favorite angle of all time was the Road Warriors taking a spike to Dusty Rhodes' eye. As I can tell you, I was in my grandmother's house. I was spending the night over there watching wrestling on TBS, and they did the thing. It is all censored, and I was going nuts. I was like, oh my god! My aunt comes in to check on me, and I'm like, look what's going on! And she's like, shh, people are trying to sleep. It's like, it's late, and I'm like, look, they're sticking a spike in his eye. She's like, shh, God, just turn this off.
Stop it.
So favorite wrestler, yours would be the Undertaker.
Yes, that would
which
era?
Undertaker? Yeah, which era of Undertaker?
Well, go back to everything. Like, I didn't start watching until like 2002, so I missed so many of the good angles and everything. So I think that's the reason why maybe that the invasion angle or something wasn't something that is my favorite or anything, because I didn't see it or experience it firsthand. So that goes the same with that the American Badass Undertaker, Big Evil Undertaker is my favorite Undertaker, because that was the first Undertaker that I knew.
Right.
You know.
Interesting.
My favorite was Shawn Michaels, and then it ended up being Triple H in the end, and it was actually, I was at King of the Ring of '97, and he won that one. And that's the day that I decided I wanted to wrestle. I was
Yeah.
That was gonna be my next question. Well, you know.
Sorry.
So
she's just trying to get hired.
My grandma was alive.
yeah,
She
Triple
could
H,
tell you the story.
you're my favorite.
No.
You're my favorite wrestler.
He's not now. He was.
What?
Now she just
Well, moving on,
she lost it.
Sue?
Sue?
As a kid, I loved Scott Steiner. I don't know if that's weird or not, but Big Papa Pop was awesome. And then, like, looking back on his career when he was in Japan and stuff, he was phenomenal in the Steiner Brothers.
I like the Steiner Brothers.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, I can't lie. I do love Shane McMahon. I think he's amazing, and he's phenomenal as an athlete and as an entertainer and all around, you know, really awesome. It's not because I'm trying to get a job.
Nah,
it's just because
We're being
Shane's awesome,
No,
and y'all know that.
He is.
No, I mean, he had
Might have
just
a crush.
his matches, like, say what you want, you know, him not being a wrestler.
Right.
His match with Taker at Mania was amazing. And then you look at the matches that he had. Shane versus Test, when he first did the big elbow.
Shane versus Kane.
Shane versus Kane.
You know,
Yes.
you know,
That,
he
one of my
had some
favorites, too.
amazing matches, and then obviously the Shane versus Kurt Angle. So amazing matches for a guy who's not a wrestler.
Right.
Exactly.
And then
And
also
he
have that
recently did-
gap.
He did Mania recently, guys.
Exactly.
Yeah,
they had that
that
gap
was
before
insane.
this past WrestleMania with Taker. Who did he?
Right. And,
How long had it been? And
Yeah.
let me just.
and his return was really cool because, of course, this day and age with the internet, you don't. Everything is spoiled.
Of course.
You know, like, but his music hit. You know, here comes the money.
Yeah, legitimate
And
emotion.
everybody was like, "Oh my god!"
Right.
You know, so like it was one of those things that wasn't spoiled for people, and I think that's like the internet. I hate the internet. I mean, I don't because
like
people are watching on the internet, but it just ruins.
Yeah.
But I remember like when the internet first came a thing, and you would read these insider stories, and I was like, "Oh, this is the coolest." But now I'm like, I was part of the problem.
Yeah.
You know.
Curses.
It's me. It's my fault. All right. Moment you decided you wanted to become a pro wrestler.
Well, for me, I always knew that I wanted to be part of wrestling in some capacity. Originally, I was like, let me be a writer. Let me be behind the scenes because I was never an athlete growing up. I was like 230 pounds. I didn't do anything. I sat behind my computer on the internet and was lazy as hell, and I did nothing. And then my friend drugged me to a gym, and I was like 18, and I couldn't last like 5 minutes on the elliptical. And I'm like, well, this sucks. And I'm like, wow. But I'm like, I'm young. What's really holding me back from doing something that I really have this dream of doing? So it was literally in a sweaty, nasty gym on an elliptical. I couldn't breathe, and I was like, I'm gonna go for it. So.
And you're right. How long ago was that?
I'm 25 now, 18 then. So
7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and here you are in a
Here I am.
child's bedroom filming
With Simba.
filming an episode of the Beasley Show. You've really gone.
I'm really taking off, man.
Yeah. You said Triple H winning King of the Ring was.
Yes, well, Hunter vs. Helmsley. The thing is, I hated him. But when he won, I was like, oh, I love it! He won! Man, I want to be a wrestler. But yeah, I was 7, and, you know, at the time, my grandmother was like, hey, yeah, you can do whatever you want to do. Like, who at 7 knows what the heck they want to do and actually go and pursue it? So, I was 7. I found out when I was about 11, 12 that there was a training school up the street for me, so I would go there and do concession, record the shows, and then when I was 16, I started training.
Awesome. So
Like-
doing it the right way. Not a lot of people do that anymore.
Yeah, no.
Well,
And it's
people
like,
don't want to show up and help out
and
any
help
way
out,
possible.
yeah. And even like, I'm pretty sure Sue knows this, like even like being up north, like where I'm from, no matter what, I started driving ring trucks once I got my license because I was best friends with one of the promoters for Top Rope Promotions, and you know, and he's like, hey, can you do this for me? And I'm like, I guess. And I'm putting up rings with him and opening up training. Like, people don't realize that. Like, yeah, I've wrestled for a while, but I also busted my butt. Like, I wasn't just handed like, hey, here you go and work, you know?
Didn't
It's
just show up in a dress for a show and be put on.
like I was dirty. Like I'm like now I have to wrestle. I
Yeah,
just drove
my hair's gonna be awful.
right, you know, and I feel like nowadays it's not really like that, and people think they just deserved a shot to like wrestle, and it's like, do you even know how to put the ring together? Like, do you know how to turn the turnbuckles and like, you know, so.
Sue, what was that moment that you decided I'm gonna be a
This is it.
professional spandex fighter?
This is it.
So, my dad didn't make, but sorta, like, just turned on wrestling every night. And as a kid, I was like, what is this? And I kept watching it. And as a kid, I was influenced by that. And my parents have very embarrassing videos of me, like, impersonating wrestlers on, camera when I didn't know I was recording. And, just wrestling with my cousins and my brothers when I was younger. And, you know, I always felt like I wanted to be a wrestler no matter what. It was just, like, I was always told, hey, you can't wrestle. What are you going to do? Are you going to jello wrestle? You're going to be a mud wrestler? I'm like, no, I'm going to beat your, you know? You know, I just, like, I remember, like, I've always wanted to be, ever since I was a little kid, probably around, like, 7 years old, I definitely was like, this is awesome, I want to do this, but I don't know if I can, because there's so much pressure of me being, like, something more than a wrestler. And so after high school, I didn't really tell anybody, but I moved over to Tennessee and I just started training. Bye! That's pretty much what happened.
Tennessee from where? Tennessee from where were you?
Washington State, like Seattle.
So Washington, you
like
just
Tri-City area.
You just packed up and moved to Tennessee and started training?
Pretty much.
That's a baller story. Like that's like that's a move that not too many people are willing to take, and that just shows that a lot of people may say, oh yeah, I want to be a wrestler, and then yeah, I like wrestling, so I'm gonna do it, and then just be
Fizzle
on the
out.
indies, and then it's a hobby. But you're like, I'm going to change my life for this. Like that's a baller move.
It was really weird because the reason why I moved to Tennessee was my dad was like, oh, if you're going to be a wrestler, you should know about the territory days and stuff. And apparently...
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. Well, those don't really exist anymore when I was, like, going to training. So it was
You're like knocking on doors. Can I speak to
the guy in charge of the territories?
Yeah.
who's head of the territories around here? But, if I really did some research, Colonel De Beers is, like, maybe a couple hours away from where I lived.
Yeah.
And I could have gone to school there, but because, my dad had a lot of influence in what I loved, I listened to him, a lot, because he grew up in the territory days, and he would go see house shows and stuff like that, and he'd tell me about it, but I didn't know those, still existed. All I knew was, WWE and TNA, and that was it.
Right, so nothing about indies. And
Not
stuff
really,
like that.
no. Like, my first wrestling show was WrestleMania 19.
Oh.
So, not really knowing a bunch of stuff, when I was doing independent shows, I was like, what is this? This is cool. My first indie show was the show, I went to go watch, as a student, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So it wasn't
You were into the indies first. And
I
then,
didn't know anything about the
yeah.
indies. I was,
Wow.
so uneducated, because in the area of, Washington State, unless you really, really searched online, which my parents didn't really let me do, they also didn't let me cross the street. I was
But
So
they let
you
move to Tennessee.
So you when
I
Sue
was
Young
very
crosses
rebellious.
the street, she really crosses the streets.
Bye.
yeah. When you tell me not to do something, I'll be, abiding to it, but then eventually it's gonna be, out of nowhere, total swerve, what? She just left? So, yeah, I miss my family tons, of course, but it's been a long road, guys.
Yeah, and I think that you still got quite a few years left in this. And I mean, you've completely reinvented yourself in these last 2 years, and
3 years.
3 years.
Because I came back from Japan,
Yeah,
and then that's when things started turning around.
yeah, but
Japan was pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, everyone's gonna go. Don't worry.
yep, everyone gets to go, right?
Yes,
Everyone-
everyone does get to go.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yes.
I don't know if there's a time where I was like, okay, this moment, because I don't know of a time where I didn't want to be in wrestling. I honestly can't remember. From the longest memory that I have was wrestling related. So, spent 18 years doing it, and who knows how many more years I'll be around it. Hopefully, this little show develops into something, like,
Never know.
you never know who's going to pick up the phone and call you one day. I mean, there's a whole network, that they need for shows.
Hey.
Trying to get hired.
So, one thing we like to do here on the Milo Beasley Show is called the Top 5.
Okay.
So, I'm going to ask you guys individual questions.
Oh boy.
Kennedy, I want to ask
God.
you top 5 Disney movies.
Ah.
You got me.
The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid. Those are my top 3. Finding Dory that I just saw that I love to death. Oh my god,
Ooh.
love that movie. Like, so good. That's 4, right? I'll go with Aladdin.
Aladdin's real
It's a whole new world.
So good.
Latasha. Top 5 Top 5 favorite bands.
That's easy. Breaking Benjamin, Nickelback.
Yes! No one likes Nickelback.
You like Nickelback?
I love Nickelback.
I love them.
Why does everyone hate Nickelback?
I don't
They're Canadian.
I don't understand it. Okay, so
I'm just-
Breaking Benjamin, Nickelback, Theory of a Dead Man, Stone Sour, and my last band. Does it have to be a band or could be an artist?
Artist.
Ryan Cabrera.
I don't even know what
You know,
that is.
You went from like
Awesome.
rock.
No, like
I don't even know what that is.
Ryan Cabrera is awesome. You know,
He
like
is
when
good.
Jessica Simpson was like with Nick Lachey
Yeah,
at that point, and
Yeah,
she
yeah.
had a sister named Ashley, and then Ryan Cabrera was her boyfriend at the time.
Oh, I love Ashley Simpson. One of my favorite, like my go-to. What is the term for the songs that you don't want people to know? Anyway, one of my favorite songs, Love.
Oh, that's a
by
good
Ashley
song.
Simpson. Yeah.
Pieces of Me is good by Ashley Simpson too.
Sue.
Yeah.
Top 5 favorite board games.
Oh my gosh. My top one is Life. I always win that game.
Yes.
No one's ever beat me at the game of Life. Second one would it's like a board game, but not really. I like Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay. We'll count it.
Sorry,
Count.
Sorry. I definitely like. Well, would you say checkers would be a board
Yeah.
game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I love checkers. I'm like anytime I can play checkers with anybody when I'm on my downtime, always a good
Good
time.
Cracker Barrel.
I work there.
Oh yeah, we had some good times. I like. Board games are so hard. Monopoly's a fun
Monopoly?
one, but sometimes it's difficult. Like, I don't like playing my mom in Monopoly.
No?
No, because she's like the haggler of hagglers. Like, she will
Yeah.
be like, "Hey,
My dad.
let me buy your spot for this much." And you're like, "Well, I really want this much." And then she lowers it down. She's like, "Well, this is how much you're gonna get now." And I'm like,
My dad asked for amnesty, so he's like, "I'll give you that, but if I land on it, I don't have to pay for it."
"Oh,
Huh? He's like, "But they'll land on it. They'll land on it. Don't you worry." Amnesty. You're not gonna get it.
It's the never.
And last one.
Oh man, board games are hard.
It's like, is there any in here?
I'm looking around like
Shoots and ladders?
Shoots and Ladders and Candyland. I'm not gonna lie.
Candyland,
I think
though.
they answered for you.
I can't do that, man.
Yeah.
No Candyland right here.
What?
Clue?
Yes, actually, I do love Clue.
Clue's a good one.
That's a really good one.
That's a
Clue's
good
really
movie.
fun.
yeah, I love that.
Very good movie.
Run down
They
the
need to make a
hall.
remake of it. That'd be sweet.
Oh yes.
The original one's great, but I would love to see a modernized version of it.
So before we wrap up, where can everyone find you guys on the socials?
At Lady K Brink, and that's for Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff.
Fantastic.
Luscious Latasha on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube,
Yeah.
Facebook.
I only got Twitter, so it's Real Sue Young. You can email me though, realsueyoung@yahoo.com.
Get it.
And I am at The Wrestling Bum. Thanks for watching episode number 114.
114.
I hope you enjoyed this this type of conversation. It's a little bit different format than we have been, so that's pretty amazing. So if you enjoyed it, please let me know if you want to see that more in the future. If you like to just see one-on-one interviews. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Hey!
Yay, I'm entertaining.